Weapon boosting together with bunny hopping are the fundamentals of movement in this game. I'm not really sure how to start this segment, so I'm just gonna drop the knowledge. You have a weapon in your hand. In this run, we use two weapons. We use the sword and we use the daggers, which you get later on. Each of these weapons, depending on the direction you're going, has a different attack. So if I just stand still, I would get this overhead. If I were to go backwards while doing an attack, I have this stabby stab. If I hold forwards and do an attack, I get this overhead stab. And if I go sideways, I have sideways swings like this one or like this one. These animations in general have two purposes. Either to boost you or to take away your momentum, which are polar opposites, and you can use them for both. For example, the W animation is the most versatile because it can both boost you and take away your speed, depending on how you use them. And in the beginning of the game, the W animation is all you can do to boost yourself. And if you look at it, if I just do the attack, it gives me some forward momentum. And if I jump, I can go even further with it. And if I sprint and jump, I can go even further with it. And if I sprint, jump, attack, and then keep it as a bunny hop chain, I'm all of a sudden sword boosting. And just slowly how to do it, you want to get this animation ready by holding W and then attacking and holding left click. And as soon as you've done that, you want to start sprinting, jumping, attacking, and then you want to keep jumping. If you hold W and then sprint and then attack, you will get this animation, which in the beginning of the game you can't use for a boost. Another purpose of this W animation with both the sword and the daggers is to remove your fall damage. Not to remove your fall damage, but to remove your momentum while falling, which you can use to remove your fall damage. So if I get this animation ready again, and oh no, I'm dropping down here, I'm taking lots of damage, I can use this attack midair, and it stops me dead in my tracks midair, and I can use that to reduce or negate my fall damage. Now once you're at the end of Prologue, you will put 1 point into melee combat, and if you read the description it says, charge, a powerful attack to stun your enemies, sprint plus power strike. And this point in melee combat will allow you to boost not only with the W animation, but also with any other animation. And the way to boost with those is the exact opposite as with this one, with the overhead stab. With the overhead stab, you wanted to start sprinting, jump, and then attack. And for the other one, you want to sprint, then attack, and then immediately jump. And there is no penalty for jumping too soon after an attack, as long as you jump after the attack. So if I just do this animation, for example, this random one, I will sprint forward, attack, and immediately jump. And then I can use this momentum to keep going in a bunny hop chain. And now I'm sword boosting with a power strike. So the main takeaway from this is in the prologue, you can only do this overhead stab by jumping and attacking. And once you're past the prologue and you put a point into melee combat, you can use power strikes to boost with any animation by attacking and immediately jumping afterwards. So as soon as you get to this level, which is Gleam, up here on the counter, you will find the daggers, which are infinitely more useful than the sword. Because they can do all of what the sword can do, for example, cancelling your fall damage, or boosting. But they can also do what's called a double dagger boost, which is this, where you do a second boost after the first one. So with these daggers you have similar animations as with the sword. You have the idle one, which is crossed arms. Sideways ones are also just crossed arms. You have the W one, like I showed you earlier when dropping down here, which you can use to reduce your fall damage. These cannot be used to do this boost, like with the sword. You can't use this to sprint, jump, and then boost. That's a thing limited to the sword only. And you have the backwards animation, which is this weird crossed arms one. But you can still use any of these to boost with a power strike. Like so. But you can also do a double dagger boost, and for that you need to attack again after you do your first boost. And I want you to learn this in steps, which is what helped me a lot when I tried to learn this. First of all, I want you to try and trigger the second animation at all. Just on the ground, no jumping. And for that, you want to ready an animation. And I want you to do a power strike without jumping. And after you do the power strike, I want you to click immediately again. Like this. And you should get this second slash. Once you got the second animation to trigger reliably, I want you to try to mix in the first jump. So basically, this is a normal power strike boost with the added second animation. So you would do a normal power boost, and then click again immediately after to get the second animation to trigger. And I bet you can guess what the third step is. You just want to keep the momentum going with a bunny hop chain. So after you do the first boost, you get the second animation and you keep it going with the bunny hop chain. And now you're double dagger boosting. And this is usually a bit tricky to get down for new people, which is why I recommend learning it in steps. Usually the normal power strike boosting is not too hard to learn for new people. But the double dagger boost, because of the timing of the click, and having to do 2 jumps while having to do 2 attacks all within a short time window, is usually a bit tricky to get down. Also, double dagger boosting will allow you to do more advanced strats later on in the game, where you really need the speed and the reach of the 2 boosts chained together. Not only that, but you can also use these double boosts, or you can rather use the second boost to rapidly change direction. So if I go to this corner here, I can boost around corners now, because the second boost is a separate boost going into a different direction. So this is really useful, and I'd say this is a high priority trick that you want to learn sooner rather than later.